Alexander Volkanovski was the UFC's featherweight champion for 5 years. He is arguably one of the greatest featherweights of all time. But then he got knocked into oblivion by Ilia Topuria to lose his belt. But here he is, less than 1 year later, fighting for it again. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC 314 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. But before we look forward, let's take a second and look back. UFC Vegas 105 was last night. Overall, a decent fight card. Lerone Murphy worked his way into the top 10 rankings. Pat Sabatini reminded everybody how good his grappling is, and overall, the card was decent. Torres Finney, one of the most boring, hyped prospects the UFC has ever seen, but he did get screwed on one of those scorecards. Check out the entire recap video here. It is the Home Alone face because I am just shocked at how quickly I can crank those out. That is on the YouTube channel. If you watch that video, you'll see how phenomenal we did at UFC Vegas 105 with the bets. Me, Jakey Boy, Bet Sam, we all did pretty well. Jakey Boy and I absolutely crushed. I had a 75% ROI on the bets that I put on the board, and the reason I had such a great ROI is because I hit every single bet. I didn't lose one single bet at UFC Vegas 105. Clean sweep for the big man. Safety parlay, building quite a little streak here. Jakey Boy's underdog lock of the week, also building quite a little streak. If you want to check out all the bets for UFC 314, we got a whole bunch on the board right now, ready to go at WeWantPicks.com. Here's a closer look at Jacob's underdog lock of the weeks. Yes, he has to wear that helmet for his own safety concerns, but he's also picking fights at an insane accuracy. He is picking underdogs at 80%. He has hit 8 of the last 10 underdog lock of the weeks. You people can't pick fights at 50%, let alone underdogs only at 80. Jacob's lock of the week has been quite the pillar of success. You can check that out at WeWantPicks.com. We have a full lock of the week tracker there. And then as soon as he finds his lock and places his bet, that bet goes on the board. You can check everything out at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. It's freaking $10 for an entire month. $10 for an entire month of access to picks, bets, tools. If you became a premium member last night, right before UFC Vegas 105, you made enough money to cover, I don't know, a year's worth of premium member. It's $10. Such a tariff-free. Tariff-free. In a world loaded with tariffs, not premium. Not premium. American-made, available on the web for everybody. No tariffs. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And it's more than just copy-paste bets. We have all sorts of other tools, insight, and information. One of the things we offer is DraftKings ownership projections. If you play DraftKings Fantasy, you know how important these are. And we dominate. Week in and week out, we have the best ownership projections on planet Earth. Here's the results from UFC Vegas 105. You'll see that our margin of error, less than 4%. And it smoked everybody. And when I say everybody, I'm not talking about sign up for my Patreon. No, I'm talking about the giant DFS companies like Roto Grinders who have a staff of 100. And their only job is to put out DraftKings ownership projections. And we do it better than them. And we do it for $10. You're also going to have access to other tools like the Optimizer. This will build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. And we have an easy button. We understand that the barrier to entry for things like DraftKings optimizers is pretty high. If you have never used one before, it's pretty intimidating. Lots of numbers. You don't necessarily know what the hell everything means. And what we've done is we put an easy button. It's tax season here in the US, and you're seeing commercials for TurboTax. And TurboTax is like, ask you, did you buy a house this year? No. How much money did you make? This much. Answer a few questions. It does your taxes for you. That's exactly what we built into the brand new Optimizer. Hey, who are your 3 favorite fighters on the card? Hey, what underdogs do you think could do well? Hey, anybody you just hate? Answer a few of those questions. It'll build the lineups for you. We also have a tool called the Fight Simulator. This takes every fighter on the card, brings in historical information like grappling stats and striking stats, and it simulates those fights 100,000 times. It then takes those simulations, gives you the results, and you can use those results for things like finding prop bets. You can use those results to build DraftKings fantasy lineups. Those 100,000 simulations are wildly valuable, and you can do with that what you would like. And if you like to do your own research, you're watching this because I have incredible facial features and a soothing voice. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Do me a favor, tell my wife how much you enjoy me and that I'm amazing. Also, if you're watching this for research purposes, and I'm one of many, the best, but one of many videos that you watch, we have a tool called the Data Analyzer. Not only does this have historical information, it has future information as well. Grab any fight card you want in the future, select any fighter you want, and you'll not only see their data, but their data compared to their opponents. You can stack filters. You can go ahead and hunt for prop bets. You can watch their fight tape. There's a full tape study built inside of this tool. It is literally the one-stop shop for anything you could ever need as far as doing research. Everything I've mentioned, 40 things I didn't mention because these intros go long and everybody cries, is available right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. That's how we keep the lights on here. And not only is premium membership by far the greatest value in this space, and I will say that with a straight, I'll go to a confession booth, say to the priest, I am 100% serious. This is the greatest value in this space, period, end of story. It's $10. And that $10 will get you access to everything that we do. The app, however, is free. You don't need to be a premium member to have the app. You can go to We On Picks, become a premium member, then download the app, and then you get push notifications for things like, hey, just placed a bet. Hey, safety parlays on the board. Hey, Jacob's got a bet and it's plus money. Use some deductive reasoning skills. But if you don't have premium membership and you do have the app, you'll still get push notifications. We just had 2 weeks ago, 2 fights drop an hour before that fight card started, and every single person with the app got a push notification. Hey guys, these 2 fights dropped. Take a look at your bets. Make sure you're good to go on your DraftKings fantasy lineup. So download the app. Just search We Want Picks in the App Store. And if you become a premium member, it's A, only $10. It's B, the greatest value in the space. And C, it's for an entire month. And here's the access you'll have. You'll get UFC 314, which as of right now is probably the best pay-per-view we have this year. You'll get UFC Kansas City with its brand new main event. And you'll get UFC Des Moines, the UFC's return to Iowa with Corey Sandhagen and Figgy. Unlock all of it right now at WeWantPicks.com. And this is a vlog week. You know, for the pay-per-views, I film a vlog. And in those vlogs, we open some mail. We read some letters. I've got a fat stack right to my left of mail. A fat stack. We got packages. We've got letters. I don't know what's in them. One of them is from a dude, Haywood Jablomi. That's the name on the letter. I don't know what's in the letter. I haven't opened it yet. I will open it on the vlog. But if you want to send something for the vlog, for me to open, to read, to eat, if your grandmother makes delicious cookies, send it over. If you have a nonna, and not a meemaw, if you have a nonna, and she makes rice balls, send them over. Send them over. 1 through 10. Send them over. Let's see what your nonna's working with. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. Also curious how many of you even know what a nunna is. You guys strike me as like Meemaw and Papa type people. Not me. Nunna and nunno. This week has a couple of interesting narratives going on. 1, Michael Chandler's in the co-main event. People hate that dude. Say he's fake as shit. 2, Alexander Volkanovski trying to work his way back to the belt, which is historically very hard to do. You lose that belt, getting back to it is not an easy thing to do. I have filmed 2 separate videos on 2 separate topics. One of them, Michael Chandler being wildly unlikable and known as fake in the space. And 2, that curse of losing your title, trying to get back to it. I filmed those videos with Josh Thompson. If you don't know who Josh Thompson is one of the best fighters on the planet at a given period of time. He was a lightweight fighter in the UFC. The UFC did not have a lightweight division, so he went over to Strikeforce. Won his belt there, became the Strikeforce world champion, and for probably, 3, 4, 5 years, was the best lightweight fighter on the planet. He is the only fighter to ever knock out Nate Diaz. Head kicked that dude, finished him. Only fighter to ever do it. Him and I sit down. We're buddies in real life. He lives near me. We met at a fucking car wash. Lives near me. The kids are friends. We said, it's crazy we don't film a video together. So we started. It's called Bad Takes. We talk about all the different topics in the space. We pick one topic for a video, and just me, the smart one, him, the short, you could argue like better looking one, but honestly, probably not. And we talk about all these things. Check out these 2 videos. If I can figure out the card situation, YouTube, over here, this way, we'll do that. But check out these 2 videos. They are interesting, and they are pertinent to this fight card. Let's go ahead and break down this fight card. And I don't know if this is going to be the fight order forever, but it is certainly the fight order right now. And opening up the UFC 314 fight card, we got Nora Cornolle taking on Hailey, Cowan. And no better way to start a giant pay-per-view than with a sketchy women's fight. Nora Cornolle is a violent striker. She's got power. She's got aggression. Does a good job using all of her tools. She'll elbow you if she's against the cage or in the clinch. She'll punch you and kick you at range. And she'll do everything she can to try to finish you. She is looking for KOs or TKOs. She's a gamer. She's always striking with something. She's moving, constantly looking to do something. She doesn't really wrestle, though. When she is on the ground, her BJJ is decent. She'll take some risks trying to chase some submissions. She's coming off that decision loss to Jacqueline Cavalcante, where she was just way too hittable, but she did win that first round and almost the second. She's taking on Hailey Cowan. Hailey Cowan's been out of the mix for a little bit of time. 2 years she's been gone, but she's back. Long, tall, athletic. She's not the most technical fighter at this point in her career, at least before she left, but she is learning very quickly. She's got powerful striking, solid takedown defense, plenty of cardio. Her athleticism carries her through most fights, and it does make up for a lack of technique. She's coming back after a 2-year layoff. And I did my research. I was like, oh shit, did this bitch get popped by USADA? No, the 2-year layoff was just random injuries. A broken bone at one point, rolled her ankle. It just a lot of injuries that stacked up, and now she's back. On paper, should be Nora all day long. Also, sneaky pretty, by the way. On paper, should be Nora all day long. But anytime you get somebody as athletic as Hailey, you can expect giant improvements between fights. And a 2-year layoff is like, is she going to come back looking like absolute shit? Or is she going to come back because she's been grinding, working, and we're going to see a giant leap forward in the skills? I don't know, and that's the problem. Nora is going to be the pick because between the two of them, she's definitely the better fighter, right? The overall fighter. The better athlete is Hailey. Hailey's big, strong, fast, athletic. Hailey could absolutely win this fight. I'm going to pick Nora. The bet, however, probably going to be a plus 3.5. Right now, Hailey Cowan's a plus 150 dog. Let's hope that those odds widen. We'll get a plus 3.5 bet. If you don't know what that is, that's betting the spread. All we would need Hailey to do is win 1 round. And if she does, we get paid. We did that last week with Pedro Falcao. He won 1 round in a competitive back and forth fight, and we got paid. So hopefully we can get a little bit more of the same here because Hailey could definitely keep this close. I imagine if we get that bet, it'll probably be juiced, but it'll be worth the juice. Hailey Cowan's a gamer, wildly athletic, and could definitely steal around. Then we have Tresean Gore taking on Marco Tulio. First of all, Marco Tulio, quite the ladies' man. Quite the ladies' man. He bagged himself a baddie. Anyway, Tresean Gore, heavy-handed guy. He's going to come forward. He was a wrestler at his core, hit a bit of a slump in his first UFC fights because he wasn't wrestling. He was just trying to bomb away, but he was gun-shy. So he was just kind of sitting on giant right hands, hoping to find some power. But he seems to have turned that corner. He's gone back to the wrestling roots. He's racked up a couple wins in a row. Overall, he is a decent fighter. He can fight everywhere. More of a hammer than a nail, though. If things get tough, he's not really going to bounce back. He's coming off that finish win over Antonio Tricoli. Then we have Marco Tulio. Marco Tulio is a good striker, solid grappling. Norma Dumont's boyfriend. And listen, Jakey Boy and I were at UFC Vegas 101, first fight card of the year. And Marco fought there. He won. He knocked out Ihor Peteria. And his girlfriend, Norma Dumont, was cornering him. And listen, I'm not like I got a wife. She's beautiful. She's mean as fuck, but I guess I kind of like him that way. So we're good, right? I don't have a wandering eye. That's not really who I am. Never been that kind of guy, ever. But Norma Dumont's standing there. And we weren't very far from her. And you hear DC talk about it. You hear Laura Sanko talk about, oh, she's got a dump truck. They are not fucking around. It is crazy. From the other side of the room, you're like, God damn, dude. Just a giant ass. From the other side of the room, it's like, holy shit, dude. She must have to custom tailor pants. Because I don't know how you can find pants that could fit her. I heard my wife. I don't know how you can find pants that could fit the ass and then aren't baggy on the legs. It's got to be custom tailored. It's crazy. Anyway, that's Marco's girlfriend. So he's slinging. Anyway, all right, guys, it's a pay-per-view week. Keep it professional. You kept the intro under 35 minutes somehow, and now you're rambling about some chick's ass, and I'm not here for that. Just get to the picks, bro. Just please. That was you. Anyway, Marco Tulio, I don't know. This thing's off the rails and we're 15 minutes in. Marco Tulio, solid grappler. His striking is diverse, plenty of power. Volume is solid. It's not overwhelming, though, because he takes his time. He'll hang out at distance. He has no problem using leg kicks to kind of keep the pace where he wants it. Good grappling as well. He can fight on the ground. He will get it to the ground. And once it's there, he's either going to ground and pound or hunt for a submission. And as I mentioned, he's coming off that finish win at UFC Vegas 101. Tresean has a little bit of hype behind him, right? He's got 2 wins in a row. He's back in that win column. I don't think that's going to matter. Marco is a very good fighter. He's going to be very good everywhere. Probably better than Tresean everywhere except the wrestling. If Tresean comes out diving at legs, he may actually have a little bit of success here. But I think he ends up just shooting from too far away. I think he ends up falling behind. I think he's going to start striking. He's going to get dotted up. And then he's going to be like, I should probably wrestle now. And too little, too late. So I think Marco Tulio is going to win this fight. He's going to be the pick. Pretty confident in that. Then we have 50K Dan Ige taking on Sean Woodson. What's the over-under? What is the over-under on thank you Dan comments on this video? I'm going to say 20. This video will probably do a couple hundred comments. It usually does, especially pay-per-view fight week. Mostly people arguing or telling me I'm fat. I am curious, though, how many thank you Dans we're going to get. Because as we grow and as we get farther and farther away from UFC 303, fewer and fewer people know about the thank you Dan. If you don't know what it is, Jacob and I were at UFC 303. And that's the fight card where Dan Ige stepped up on literal a couple hours notice to save the co-main event. Brian Ortega was out. They called Dan Ige. He's like, fuck it, I'll fight in 3 hours. They came, they weighed him in, and he fought a few hours later. So I, as an appreciative fight fan, was sitting in the stands with Jakey Boy. We're watching the fights, and I tried to start a thank you, Dan. I tried to start a chant because thank you, Dan. You saved the co-main event. Thank you, Daniel. We now got a fight that we weren't going to have, so thank you, Dan. Jacob didn't like that I started that chant, was mocking me, making fun of me. He was trying to say, get slept, Dan. Jacob doesn't appreciate the people and what they do for us. So that's where the thank you, Dan shit came from. I am curious. Maybe we do a drinking game on the live. And maybe for every thank you, Dan super chat, and it could be 10 cents. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to get the money. I just can't have it be comments because then we'll get bot-style comments. I can't say I'll take a shot because then I'll get 10 of them in 5 minutes. We'll figure something. We'll figure out some sort of thank you, Dan drinking game. Anyway, let's talk about Daniel. Mr. 50K, Mr. Ige. He's a fantastic kickboxer. He's got good speed, good power. He's also got solid BJJ. He's got underrated wrestling. His takedown defense is low on paper. Very low at 57%. But he has only fought killers the last couple of years. Most of them have been looking to take him down. He's a very durable guy. He's a tough night out for anybody, and getting him out of there is almost impossible. So you're going to need a full 15 minutes of solid game plan and cardio, and you should probably prepare for war. He's coming off that decision loss to Lerone Murphy, where he had Lerone rocked early, but he just wasn't able to capitalize. He's taking on the crazy long ET-looking Sean Woodson. This guy is a long, lean boxer. He has an actual boxing career before moving to MMA. He manages distance really well because his arms are 500 feet long. He can scratch his knees without bending at the waist. And he's one of the few fighters that actually knows how to use their reach, and it's because of that professional boxing background. Given how good his hands are, most people are going to try to take him down, but that's not an easy task. His takedown defense is 84%. He's coming off that knockout win over Fernando Padilla. And on the surface, this should be an easy Sean Woodson pick. And for the most part, it is. But Dan Ige's just general dogfight aura does give me a bit of concern here. Sean should be the far better striker. Shouldn't even be close. He should be able to use the range, piece short Dan up. But Dan's not going to stop coming forward. He's going to be prepared for a full-blown war. Sean is the pick. But depending what happens to this line, maybe we can get a plus 3.5 on Dan. Maybe Dan to win a single round is the bet. But Sean is going to be the pick. But if you're looking at their resumes and looking at the people that they've beaten, they don't even compare. And the way Lerone Murphy just fought at UFC Vegas 105, never in any danger whatsoever, but Dan Ige sat him down and almost finished him. It's like, oh shit, Dan's a gamer. Then we have Sedriques Dumas taking on Michal Oleksiejczuk. SD Dumas. We talked about him many times. I'm not a big fan of SD Dumas's, but he was a street fighter who learned actual fighting skills and worked his way into the UFC. His origins of a street fighter is what gave him some notoriety. Pretty popular guy. The UFC put some money behind him, tried to build him up. He doesn't brawl. You would expect a former street fighter to come in here and brawl. Kimbo Stice style, just hanging around. He's going more the route of Jorge Masvidal, where it's like, let me take that grit and the guts and the determination that comes with street fighting success and add some actual skills and try to be a good fighter. And that is the path he's trying to head down. His takedowns are just okay. His kickboxing is okay. He has got decent techniques. He's definitely got a good chin. We've seen him absolutely blasted, and he's fine. He's not quite good. He's coming off that decision win over Dennis Tululin where he went all in on the wrestling, but it was clear he didn't know what to do with it. And that's the problem with SD Dumas. He has flashes of like, this dude could be pretty decent. He could be pretty decent. And then he's got flashes of like, holy shit, he's terrible. And he's taking on Michal Oleksiejczuk. While his recent UFC record is dog shit, he's a very good striker. He's got crazy fast hands, ton of pressure early. He's got good power as well with 6 knockouts and 7 UFC wins. And while he is dangerous on the feet, he does have grappling holes. He can fade as a fight goes on. He's coming off that decision loss to Shara Magomedov, where he actually looked to offensively wrestle and try to get an edge there, which I understand because Shara, Bullet, is a very good striker. And I've said it before, and I'm going to continue to say it. SD Dumas is not a good fighter. He's coming off a win over a striker where he had to use wrestling to get it done. That same game plan could actually be very successful for him here, but I don't see it. I think Michal is just too fast. I think he hits too hard. I think SD gets tagged up pretty bad, and even if he gets a takedown, it's going to be a sloppy mess. And he doesn't know what the hell to do on the ground. He literally does not know what to do on the ground. Has no clue. He can get it there and be like, now what? Coach, help me. So I think Michal, even though he's on a 3-fight skid, will get it done. That 3-fight skid are all quality losses. Every single one of the people that beat Michal would blow through SD Dumas. Michal is the pick. These odds, minus 175, yeah, no thank you. SD has a chin on him. This could be a weird mess of a fight. So I'm not touching it. Picks and bets are not the same thing. This is not worth a bet. Unless you're going to find some fun prop. Right now, with what we have, not worth a bet. Then we have Darren, the Damage Elkins, taking on Julian Erosa in some of the worst odds I have seen. These odds are stupid as shit to the point where I went to multiple websites. I was like, no, they must have this wrong, right? Darren Elkins, a plus 300 dog against a dude who can get finished. These odds have, make him the dog. I get it. He's 40, but like the odds have to be wrong. They're not wrong. Darren Elkins is a 3-1 underdog against Julian Erosa. They have basically the exact same record. Darren Elkins has proven time and time again what a durable, grinding guy he can be. He literally wears the damage across his chest, and he's a 3-1 dog? That doesn't make any sense. Darren Elkins is the definition of a grinder. He comes forward, heavy strikes, he'll close the distance, he'll cut off the cage, he'll work into grappling. Pretty good wrestler, incredible top pressure. He never stops, and he's coming off that win over Daniel Pineda where he had 3 takedowns and was just grinding his ass off. He's taking on Julian Erosa, a long guy for this weight class. He uses his length pretty well, both on the feet and on the ground. He's very well-rounded, high output at the striking, more than 6 significant strikes landed per minute. He's got solid wrestling, almost 2 takedowns per fight. He's dangerous everywhere. He is also a dog, and he is coming off his 2nd guillotine win in a row, last time over Christian Rodriguez. These odds are nuts. And I think there's a couple of assumptions being made by the general public that's betting on this fight. People are here and they're connecting dots that don't need to be connected. For example, Elkins is old as shit. I get it. And that's fair. Elkins is going to look to wrestle. That's fair. Julian Erosa has a great guillotine. That's also fair. But we're not connecting dots to say Darren's going to shoot a takedown and get submitted because he's old and Julian has a guillotine. Those are dots that should not be connected. Darren is insanely durable. He's defensively sound. I think Julian gets taken down. He gets taken down a ton. I think he could potentially get finished. He has been finished plenty of times. Darren has all dog in him, and if he had dog in him 5 months ago in that win, he's going to have dog in him in this fight. Darren is going to be the pick, but because I'm a scaredy cat, because when they did my vasectomy, they took out my actual testicles, I'm probably going to wait for a prop bet instead of betting this straight up, but I do think Darren Till gets it done. Sorry, Darren Elkins. Darren Till would get fucking smoked. That guy's a red-faced alcoholic. Darren Elkins. And if I've been saying Darren Till this whole time, my bad. I'm also a bit of an alcoholic. I drank last night. I'm in recovery today. Darren Elkins should win this fight. I'm going to wait for the props. Little chicken scaredy cat boy. But these odds are fucking nuts. If I could get plus 150 on a plus 3.5 bet, guess what, boys? Look for that notification on your phone. Then we have Sumudaerji taking on Mitch Raposo. I'll tell you right now, there are 13 fights on this card, maybe 12, something like that. I have picked a lot of underdogs. Too many, a concerning amount. I just picked one, and I'm about to pick one here. Sumudaerji is pretty good, right? He's not amazing, but he's pretty good. He's a fast striker. He's got laser accuracy, solid volume. He does not have much power, but because he is so fast and because of his movements and how well-timed everything is, he can get stoppages. He's got a great in-and-out style. He can out-decision most people who are not looking to take him down. He's coming off that third loss in a row, this time to Charles Johnson, where he was dropped and out-wrestled. He's taking on Mitch Raposo, New England Cartel. And he fights like a New England Cartel guy. If you don't know, that was before they all started moving because they sucked and they were desperate to get a win. That's the Rob Font fight camp. And like everybody at that fight camp, Mitch has clean boxing, clean striking, and giant holes in the grappling. Mitch is definitely a prospect in the Northeast. He's one of the better flyweights in that region. Best region in the country. He's only 26 years old, but he has been training since middle school. He's got a few cracks at the UFC, and he's lost all of them. He lost on The Ultimate Fighter, short notice loss in the Contender Series to Jake Hadley, and most recently, another close loss to Andre Lima. But we just saw Reese McKee get his first UFC win, and I think Mitch is going to be in a similar situation. He's a young guy. He's evolving very quickly. He's got good, clean striking. He's very comfortable in the cage. He's a little hittable, but he's got a good enough chin that it's not going to matter. Both of these guys are better than their losses. They're both talented. They're both young. I think this is a razor-thin fight, but my gut was screaming fried chicken, and then after it screamed fried chicken, it immediately screamed Mitch Raposo. And then you look at the names, and then you look at the records, and you convince yourself of anything. You look at it and say, well, who did Sue beat? And then you look at the people who beat Sue would also beat Mitch, and Mitch is unproven, but I've been doing well this year. I'm literally third-party tracked, one of the best people on the planet at picking fights week in and week out. And it's just a stat that I'm not keeping track of, other people are. And sometimes I just got to trust the gut. I've been trusting the gut lately, and it's been working. So I looked at this, and I was like, I think Mitch wins this fight. So that's what we're doing. We're just going to trust the gut. Let's hope that the 9-month layoff shored up some defensive holes. Maybe another plus 3.5 bet. This card might be loaded with plus 3.5 bets. I'm picking so many underdogs this week that maybe that's how we'll protect ourselves from a catastrophe. But I am going to pick Mitch Raposo here. I think he can get it done. Sumudaerji, he's fast, he's clean. I think this is going to be a dog fight, and I think Mitch is the better dog. Let's put it that way. Then we got Chase Hooper taking on Elder Jimothy Miller. Chase Hooper, as we all know, a very slick grappler. His takedowns are improving. The striking is improving. And it wasn't long ago that his takedowns didn't even exist. And neither did the striking. But here he is, getting beautiful takedowns, dotting people up, finishing people, using the striking. He's only a few years into his UFC career, but he has lost that baby-faced dweeb persona, which I do love, that picture of him like, hey. And that was, he is baby-faced and does look like he knows how to play Dungeons and Dragons, but he is a very good fighter. He's starting to grow into his personality. He's physically growing into his body, and he's coming off that destruction over old Clay Guida. And speaking of old, we got Jim Miller on the other side. He is the ripe old age of 41, and he has the records to prove it. He has the most amount of fights in UFC history, the most amount of wins in UFC history. He's also the only fighter to have ever fought at UFC 100, 200, and 300. And as you know by now, very good grappler. He's got clean boxing, okay wrestling. He's got all that veteran savvy, the toughness, the grit that you would ever want from a fighter. He's definitely starting to show his age, though. But he continues to defy that age in the octagon. He's coming off that submission win over Damon Jackson, where he was behind on the striking, and then he jumped a perfect Dustin Poirier is jealous guillotine. Chase is the biggest favorite on the card, at least right now. I've got these odds flipped. Chase is the minus 600 favorite. He's younger, he's faster, probably better than Jim in every single aspect of MMA except just grit and fight IQ. Man, no, he's not stupid. Not fight IQ. Let's say experience. And I do like Jim Miller, but I think he's going to look extremely old in this fight. I think Chase is going to dot him up on the feet. I think Chase is going to out-grapple the shit out of him. I think Chase is going to make Jim Miller look as bad as he made Clay Guida look. I think Chase has earned every bit of that minus 600 price tag. he's probably safe to parlay, and I would get to it before his odds look crazy. Remember last week, Deone Barboza was like a minus 400 on Sunday when I filmed my video, and then she closed at minus 1,200. That is like, that value is gone. At minus 600, those odds kind of suck, but you parlay it with a mediocre favorite, all of a sudden you're looking at minus 150. That's not terrible. But if you wait because you're a lazy bones and you want to see what happens on Saturday, he's going to be minus 1,200 and he's not worth it. So do it now. Get it over with. Pull the trigger. Then we have the featured fight of the prelims, and it's Yan Xiaonan, and she's taking on Virna Jandiroba. And no, we're not making any jokes. We're not saying that she looks like anybody. She's not out of an Adam Sandler movie. None of that. We're not doing that. That is not Rob Schneider. That is Virna Jandiroba. And we are going to show respect because she's a very good fighter and I'm picking her to win. Virna Jandiroba is a grinder. She's very good on the ground. Her striking is just okay, but she hits hard. She throws with volume. She doesn't have much head movement. And honestly, she might be trying to get hit in the head and knock that eye straight. So she gets pieced up a little bit. You could see that with the negative striking differential. But even looking in both directions, she will move forward and she will get the takedowns. No secrets through her game plan. Throw big, heavy punches. Look for the takedown. She is 7-3 in the UFC. She's quickly becoming a title contender. Likely gets a title shot if she wins here. She's coming off that dominant win over former title challenger Amanda Lemos. She's taking on Yan Xiaonan. Yan Xiaonan's a very good boxer. Well-timed strikes, good clean technique. She does not shy away from a dirty fight, and she is willing to bang it out. Outside of her 3 UFC losses, which to a former world champion, a top-tier fighter, and the current world champion, she's had a solid run in the UFC. We've seen showcases of power. We've seen the technical striking. We've actually seen grappling improvements as well, and she's coming off that straightforward win over Tabitha Ricci. But Tabitha Ricci was able to take her down. And if Tabitha Ricci's terrible-ass takedowns can work, then Virna is going to look like Jordan Burroughs. I think Yan Xiaonan is very good. I think she's one of the best women in this division, but I also think this fight is going to look like her fight against Carla Esparza. If you go back a few years, Carla was just taking down Yan and beating the shit out of her. And I think Virna is going to do the same. Virna's going to not stop grappling. She's going to move forward the whole time. She's going to get this fight to the ground. And even though she's only good at one thing, which is grinding, not vision tests, I do think that's going to be enough here. I think she's going to move forward, get this fight to the ground over and over and over again. I'm pretty confident in Virna, and I bet on her at minus 151 because I think that odds are going to widen. I will tell you right now, I don't know when you're watching this. Maybe you're watching it Sunday in the morning when I film it. Maybe you're watching it later in the week. Jakey Boy and I are going to be live on Tuesday night breaking down this card. And he has already picked and bet on the other side. We are 2 different human beings with 2 different opinions and 2 different visions of outcomes with 2 different bankrolls. He thinks Yan gets it done, and his exact words to me were, Virna is going to be tired, pulling guard, looking desperate by the second round. I could not disagree more. We'll see how it plays out. And if you want $50, I'll give you 50. We'll play that out. Let's play the affiliate share game where you go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. You sign up with any one of the partners using a link. You sign up, you make a deposit. I get paid because that link was an affiliate link. And then I slice off 50 and I throw it to you. Very simple. Very fun game to play, honestly. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Then you explore the website. I hate that my transition does that. And then I say, and then. No. First thing you should ever do is become a premium member. It's only $10. $10. And if you fast forward through the intro of this video, A, fuck you. B, you would see how spectacular we did last night at UFC Vegas 105. And if you watch last week's video, you'll see how spectacular we did at UFC Mexico. And that's not a unique situation. We're some of the best in the business. And before you're like, no, you're not, fucking Joey Dickhead with the Tapology background. Shut up, nerd. That guy sucks and so do you. Blocked. Anyway, sorry. I don't know why I'm so aggressive. I'm feeling myself today. We've had a couple of great weeks in a row. I swept all my bets hit. Every single bet. I swept the betting slate. So now I'm feeling myself a little aggressive, and I apologize for that. My bad, guys. But if you come at me aggressive, I will delete your comment. And before you're like, you're so soft, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If I came to your house and spray painted some dumb shit on your front door, which is the equivalent of you coming to my comment section, you're going to fucking paint over it. And if you comment some like, oh, if you comment anything other than Angelo is a handsome man, blocked. Deleted, blocked. Know your worth, kings. Anyway, go to the website, become a premium member. We have quite literally the greatest offering in this space. We have spent hundreds, if not thousands of man hours over the last 6 months to add new tools, to make improvements, to refine what was already a phenomenal product. One of those improvements is a brand new optimizer. We coded this thing from scratch. We built it from scratch. We added an easy mode, a beginner mode to help newcomers. Because we understand not everybody has an in-depth knowledge of how to use a freaking DraftKings optimizer. So what did we do? We made it easier to use. We built one from the industry's first beginner mode in a DraftKings optimizer. We also added a tool a few months ago called the Fight Simulator. It takes every fight on the card. It simulates them 100,000 times using historical data. And then it gives you the outputs. And you're going to get two different types of outputs. You're going to get the DraftKings fantasy outputs, and you're going to get data outputs. And you can use the data outputs to find prop bets. You can use the data outputs to understand how the significant strikes are going to play out based on the simulations or the takedowns. It's an unbelievable tool. It's included in the $10 premium package. And that $10 package is for an entire month. And that month will get you UFC 314, UFC Kansas City, UFC Des Moines. It's $10. If you hate it, then cancel. You can cancel at any time. You just go to the account, subscription, bang, cancel. 2 clicks. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You're missing out. If you don't have the app, you're missing out on push notifications. And before I get out, do you guys have an Android app? No, nerd. We don't have a Nokia app either. No, we did have an Android app. It was like not working well, so we pulled it. We're working on it. The Android app will come. For now, it's in the App Store, and I understand the Android people are very vocal. You realize like the Apple market is like 80%, and before you say, oh, Android, no. When they do the Android stats, they're including like Walmart burner, prepaid burner Android phones. The real market, 80% iPhones, all right? 80-20 rule, guys. The Android app is coming for now, iOS app. You don't need to be a premium member. You will get push notifications off news, updates, anything. And then on top of it, when we place bets. Couple of content alerts. Michael Chandler's in the co-main event. Myself and Josh Thompson, former world champion Josh Thompson, film a video about why Michael Chandler is so disliked in the MMA space. Why fighters think he's fake as shit. We break that all down. He's got real stories. He spent time with a guy in real life. That's this thumbnail with the halo and phenomenal thumbnail. Good job. I didn't make that. And then we have another video. We filmed it after the Leon Edwards fight. Talking about why is it so hard for people to lose their belt and then get back to the belt and win it again. We talk about Alexander Volkanovski in that. We talk about the situation. So both of those videos are up. They've been up for a little while. Go check them out because those topics are pertinent to this fight card. And then I've moved some content. We added that Bad Take show, myself and Josh. Jakey Boy added a Prop Hunter video. He added his 9-minute full card breakdown. So we had to move some content. If you're looking for the Prize Picks video, first of all, Prize Picks and Underdog hit last night. If you're looking for the Prize Picks videos, we've moved those to our second UFC channel. We have 2. One is We Want Picks right here. The other is Picks Nation. Picks Nation is our second channel where we put all the individual fight videos and some other content. That is also where you will find the Underdog and the Prize Picks videos. Subscribe there. If you're looking for those videos, you will have those there. We're also testing out some new content there as well. And finally, it's a pay-per-view week, which means it's a vlog week, which means we will be opening mail for the Mail Day segment. I've got like 5 letters. I have no idea what's in those things. We got a couple of packages as well. If you want to check out the vlog, you'll get it, I don't know, Sunday midday. And if you want to send something for us to open on the vlog, to read your letter, to showcase your product, if you've started a small at-home business or something like that, and hey, show off my product, happy to do it. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. And finally, one of our biggest supporters is Hayabusa. Hayabusa just released some brand new fight gloves. Hayabusa, if you don't know who they are like the leader in high-end training equipment. Everything from, gis to no-gi shorts to punching bags and focus mitts and everything. They just released their brand new T360 gloves. I do have some here. We're going to try those on, and in the vlog, I'll probably beat the fuck out of my kids with them. So check the vlog out and go to wewantpicks.com/Hayabusa if you want to see the literal Hayabusa stuff that I own, or if you want to buy anything, we get a 10% discount. So promo code WWP. If you don't, that's fine. But they support us, so I'm trying to support them. And let's go ahead and break down the rest of this card. The UFC 314 main card is a very good fight card. And opening up, at least as of right now, the UFC 314 main card, we have Bryce Mitchell taking on Jean Silva. And this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. Bryce Mitchell, full blown off the deep end. He said those wild comments about a 1942 saluter. I don't know if I can say that guy's name without YouTube being like, what is he talking about? So we're not going to say his name. The little funny mustache guy. He said wild shit there. And then since then, he's been doubling down and tripling down on just being a fucking weirdo. I do think it's persona. Bryce can't be that dumb. I know he's like not that smart, but he can't be that dumb. I think at this point, he's leaning into the crazy. I think he is. And good for him, because he's building a bit of a persona, right? If Conor McGregor can do it by yelling and screaming and throwing bottles, Bryce Mitchell can do it by acting crazy and defending the shape of the earth. And he's taking on Jean Silva. Jean Silva, bit of a badass as of late. But I promise you, this fight is close as shit. Or certainly, if it's one-sided, either one of these guys can win. If Bryce Mitchell wins, it's going to look very one-sided for the grappling. If Jean Silva wins, it's going to look very one-sided for the striking. This is a tough fight to break down. Obviously, we know Bryce Mitchell, dominant grappler. He sticks to that game plan. His striking is not very good at all. He's averaging more than 3 takedowns per fight. And he's going to come forward. He's going to dive at legs and look to get it done. The guy is landing fewer than 3 significant strikes per minute, which tells you he's not looking to strike very long. He just beat the absolute shit out of jiu-jitsu nerd Kron Gracie, and that's just not really a great measuring stick, because Kron Gracie's a bum who fights once every 4 years. No improvements whatsoever. He's taking on Jean Silva, powerful striker. He's loose. He's creative. He's fun to watch. He does get himself into weird positions at times, but he is interesting to watch because he'll go from a tight guard to hands loose. He'll go from like perfect technical striking to spinning around and doing really fun, crazy stuff. He lowers his level. He'll light up your body. He'll come to the head. He's been doing quite well. He's coming off his 4th knockout win in a row, this time over Melsik Bagdasaryan, who was also supposed to be a high-level striker, and Jean Silva made him look stupid. I'm going to pick Jean Silva here. But give me a second to rant about all the reasons why you probably shouldn't bet on him. And I know the sentiment seems to be that this is an easy win for Jean, and that he's one of the best strikers in the division. I also know that Bryce got absolutely wrecked by Josh Emmett. But before you anchor 9 parlays with a guy because he's coming out of the cool new gym, let me remind you that this guy was taken down 3 times by Charles Jourdain. And sure, he went on to win that fight by knockout, and he showed incredible composure, but Bryce's grappling is different. If he gets you down, he is like a fire blanket. You're not getting him out of there. And I'm going to pick Jean here because I think the gap on the feet is wider than the gap on the ground. And I think every punch that Jean lands is just going to get Bryce rushing the takedowns, which means he's going to be farther away, and it's going to be harder and harder for him to have success. But man, this is going to be tricky. What I do think happens is Bryce is going to get a couple of takedowns early. I think Jean's going to stay composed. I think he's going to start lighting up Bryce, hitting him. And I think Jean's going to take over from there. But this is not, I think these odds are wide. This is not 3-1 favorite territory. Who, if you're on the Jean side, in all seriousness, who has he fought that has the wrestling and the grappling of Bryce Mitchell that you're now confident he's going to blow through Bryce? Who? And if all you're going to say is, well, Josh Emmett knocked out Bryce, if that's all you're going to say, then good fucking luck. Yeah, he got knocked out by Josh Emmett. A perfectly timed punch right down the pipe. That could happen to anybody on any day. What we don't know is how Jean's going to handle the grappling. We don't know. Charles Jourdain took him down 3 times, and he stayed composed, and it was that composure that has me picking. I am picking Jean. Don't get me confused. But I stare at it, and I look at Bryce's... I trash him. When he fought Ilya, I said his wrestling sucks. He took down Ilya. This could be a weird-ass fight. It's a fun fight. It is a great matchup. I love that it's on the pay-per-view card. I'm going to pick Jean, but Scaredy Cat Ange isn't betting on that fight. Then we have Yair Rodriguez taking on UFC newcomer Patricio Pitbull. Patricio Pitbull is a big deal in this sport. A little past his prime, for sure. But he is a big deal in this sport. If you only ever watch UFC, you don't know who he is. If you have seen other promotions and Bellator, Patricio Pitbull is one of the best fighters on the planet and has been for a long time. We'll start on the Yair side. We all know him by now. Fun, athletic. He'll spin kick. He'll KO. The guy is very exciting, very fun, very creative. He can grapple. He can strike. He can do everything for like one round. And then he will start to fade. He's been taken down 11 times. No, I'm sorry. It's worse than that. He's been taken down in 11 of his 14 UFC fights. And he has lost his last 2 fights because of it. He gets taken down, and once he starts to slow down and he got all the flashy kicks out of the way, he doesn't like the pressure, he can't handle it, and he will break if things get tough. But he's a 2-1 favorite here, and I suspect some of that has to do with the fact that people don't know who Patricio is. But Patricio, while not being a household name in the UFC fan base community, is a phenomenal fighter. And for a massive chunk of his career, he was one of the best fighters on planet Earth. And to give you an idea of his dominance, here's a couple of stats. He won his first Bellator tournament in 2013. And then he fought and defended the belt 16 times since then. 16 times. There's a couple of losses in there, and then he bounces right back and wins the belt again. 16 title fights since winning his first tournament. He was the lightweight champion of the world, the featherweight champion of the world. He even fought for the bantamweight belt. He is a welcome addition to the UFC, but at 37 years old, it might be a little too late. And I get that Yair is exciting. I get that he's young, and I get that he's dangerous. But Yair Rodriguez has some quit in him. When the pressure is on and things get tough, he quits. We saw it in his last fight. And if Yair can control the striking range and the exchanges and be able to march through Patricio the same way he did Josh Emmett for that interim title in 2023, then Yair can win this fight. But if he's getting backed up and Patricio is staying in his face, then it's going to be a long night for Yair. This will literally come down to Yair's ability to keep this fight standing, because if Pitbull pushes that grappling pace, it's going to break him. Yair is breakable. We've seen him break, and Pitbull can break him. He spent the majority of his career at 145 pounds. And he has not lost a fight, an unavenged. He doesn't have a single unavenged loss at 145 pounds since 2010. 15 years. 15 years since Patricio Pitbull lost at 145 pounds and didn't get that back. I think he only has 2 losses, and he avenged both of them. If you don't know who Pitbull is, stay away from this fight. That's my advice. Stay away. You don't want to fully buy into it? Fine. But stay away from him, because he could definitely break Yair. I'm going to pick Pitbull. I know he's 37, but I'm going to pick him. Just like we picked old-ass Michael Venom Page when he came over, and he looked great in that fight. Pitbull might look good in this one. I'm picking Pitbull. I told you, I'm heavy on the dogs this card. Then we have Nikita Krylov taking on Dominic Reyes. This is a weird fight to be on the main card. It doesn't really mean much for the division, and it is hard to break down. We got Nikita Krylov, well-rounded guy, very good wrestling, good striking, nice forward pressure. He mixes his striking and his grappling well together. He's got solid takedowns. He averages more than 2 of them per fight. And he's coming off that dominant grappling win over Volkanovski, where he had 7 takedowns, but that was 2 full years ago. He's taking on Dominic Reyes, former title challenger. A lot of people still to this day will argue he beat John Jones. At this point, who gives a fuck? Dominic keeps talking about it too. Who gives a fuck? You almost beat John Jones, then you got knocked out 4 times in a row. Get over it, move on, work your way back up to something important, stop living in the past. But since that title loss, things were not great. Got knocked out over and over and over again. But he seems to be back to his winning ways. He's got a couple wins in a row. He broke that insane 4-fight skid. He knocked out Dustin Jacoby. He just beat an old Anthony Smith. Technique-wise, he's long, he's lean, he can do all the things. He can strike, he can grapple. A low 28% takedown accuracy, but an 80% takedown defense. He's probably going to need that takedown defense here, because Nikita Krylov was a wrestler last time we saw him, and he might still be. I do think this is the hardest fight to pick on this card. At one point in time, Dominic Reyes was a very, very good fighter, and then he just became dog shit right in front of our eyes. And now, with 2 wins in a row, he might be back to a good fighter. Nikita, on the other hand, was never very good and never dog shit. He was always good. He was always just good. He fought some very, very good people. If you look at his resume, he has some great wins. He's got quality losses. He has always been consistent. He's not physically gifted. He's not tremendous. He's not wildly strong. He's not wildly fast, but he grinds, and he's got those good wins. He hasn't fought in 2 full years, and this feels very much like Reyes either wins early or not at all. Nikita had great wrestling, looked good in his last fight. He doesn't take step backwards. So if Nikita can come forward, get the wrestling, avoid the early Dominic Reyes craziness, I think Nikita wins this fight. I'm picking another underdog here, but this is a 50-50 fight. I am curious to see what our AI has to say. Our artificial intelligence has been like rock solid lately, so I'm curious to see what that has to say. I don't trust myself enough on this fight. I mean, the reality is Nikita Krylov could win this fight or get smoked. He hasn't fought in 2 full years. I'm going to pick Nikita. We'll see what happens. Then we have the co-main event of the evening. Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler went from fan favorite, huge UFC signing, to just wildly unliked in the community. And he's unliked by fighters and fans alike. And a lot of it has to do with the persona. And it's not a Conor McGregor, I'm angry at the world persona. It's almost too fake of a good guy persona where nobody's buying it. But I happen to like Michael Chandler. Spent a little bit of time with him in a locker room. Not in like a weird, not in a Penn State sort of way, okay? This isn't I was cornering at a Bellator event where he was the main event, and we were in the same locker room, and then they moved him to his own locker room, which makes sense, but, So when I say I spend a lot of time in a locker room with him, just relax. Nothing weird. Just shared a locker room. Seemed like a great guy. His dad seemed like a great guy. So while he is very unliked in the industry, my short passings with him say otherwise. Anyway, he's supposed to be a very good wrestler, but he likes to strike. He has a ton of power. He's got solid pressure. He has no kicks at all, but it's always fun to watch him fight because he comes forward, he bombs away. Maybe he wrestles, maybe he doesn't. He's at a point in his career where he fights for bonuses and not for championships. He had all-time fights, some of the most exciting fights you will ever see in your entire life. In the UFC, against Justin Gaethje. Out of the UFC, against Eddie Alvarez. The guy is exciting to watch. I'm always going to watch him fight. If he used his takedowns, he could have had a lot of success. But instead, he decides to slug it out. My biggest issue with Michael Chandler is the way he lost his last fight. Charles Oliveira came in here and out-wrestled Michael Chandler. Didn't out-scramble him. He out-wrestled him. Shot takedowns. Picked him up, like out-wrestled him. And Michael Chandler is supposed to be a Division I wrestler. He's taken on Paddy Dabadi, who is becoming a megastar. And he's done it pretty quickly. He's a well-rounded guy. Good amount of experience. He can be hittable because he tends to keep that chin straight up in the air. But he's got solid striking offense, a ton of volume. He's a very smooth grappler. He flows well on the ground. And if he shores some things up, like putting his freaking chin down, he has all the tools to be a viable top 5 guy in the world. He's coming off that triangle armbar technical submission over Bobby Green, where King shot a takedown, and then it was all downhill from there. And on paper, Michael Chandler should dominate here, right? He's athletic. He's powerful. Division I wrestler. Dynamite in his hands. But that version of Michael Chandler, the one who went to hell and back with Eddie Alvarez, the one who was in a whole bunch of all-time exciting fights, is gone. It's gone. That version of Michael Chandler stayed in Bellator. The version we have here is a wildly exciting guy. He's a ton of fun to watch. He's a great addition to the roster, but he's nowhere near that belt. This version of Michael Chandler wants to plant his feet, swing crazy, and be exciting. And I appreciate it as a fan. It's fun to watch. You will never see a boring Michael Chandler fight. But in order for him to win, he needs to be boring. He needs to wrestle. He's not going to do it. I think Paddy Pimblett is going to be a little bit faster on the strikes. Not nearly as powerful. Not even close. I think he's going to be a little faster on the strikes, though. And I do think he shoots the takedowns and gets the wrestling going. If Charles Oliveira is out wrestling Michael Chandler, like shooting doubles and out wrestling him, so is Paddy Pimblett. I bet on him at -160, a full unit. I think Paddy gets it done. Paddy's going to be the pick. Then we have the main event of the evening. We have Alexander Volkanovski trying to get back to his championship ways against pretty exciting, surging Diego Lopes. And patience is a virtue for Volkanovski here, because before waiting to see how things were going to play out, he was probably going to get a rematch against Ilia Topuria, and he was probably going to get the shit kicked out of him again. But he sat still. He waited. He didn't rush anything. And now he has the best possible circumstance. He's fighting for his belt again against a first-time title challenger. This is literally the last time Volkanovski could potentially win this belt. He'll never beat Ilia Topuria. There's a bunch of killers. Diego Lopes is one of them. But does the old man still have it? We all know he's in the conversation as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of all time. He's in the conversation as one of the greatest 145-pounders of all time. Alexander Volkanovski can do everything. He's got very good striking. He's got very good grappling. He's got incredible cardio. He's got incredible fight IQ. His biggest flaw is just that he's getting old and that he took fights on short notice. Before he did the short notice off-the-couch step-up against Islam, he was unbelievable. He almost beat Islam the first time they fought. Then he short noticed in the rematch, got knocked out. Literally said he was drinking every day, came off the couch, wasn't ready, he got knocked out. And then he rushed way too quickly to defend his belt against Ilia, who knocked him out. So now he's been knocked out a couple times, and things are not great. Because at that age, getting knocked out the way he's getting knocked out, the recovery is not fast. He's taking on Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes, as we all know, is a very dangerous grappler. He also is the coach to a lot of these high-level fighters. Alexa Grasso. Is it mostly women? Alexa Grasso, Lupe Godinez, a lot of those Mexican fighters. Diego Lopes is their coach. And he's a very talented kid. And while he doesn't have the best takedowns or takedown defense, his BJJ is very dangerous. His hands are very dangerous. He's a well-rounded guy who will throw power shots. He will chase finishes. His striking gets wild, but he keeps things in combinations. He continues to move forward. He does fade as fights go on, and that could be a concern here. He is coming off of that exciting win, very exciting win over Brian Ortega, where he had that dude knocked out, and then he literally hit him so many times he woke him back up. But then he faded as that fight went on. And if we're comparing skills, just skills alone, then Alexander Volkanovski is the easiest pick of all time here. His cardio, his pressure, his pace, the technical skills. On paper, that is all way too much for Diego, who we already know does fade as fights go on. But if we start to factor in the age, we start to factor in the durability, and all of a sudden, this is a very different fight. And I understand it was Ilia and Islam who knocked out Volkanovski, but Volkanovski was out cold. And at his age, to go out cold in back-to-back fights is a very big problem. And I know we've all seen the training footage of Diego Lopes just lighting those mitts up. That's a bit of a thirst trap, so I'd be a little careful there. I think this is going to go one of two ways. I think Volkanovski is going to look like shit early. That's a fact. No matter who wins this fight, I think Diego's going to look great early, as he always does. But then, if Volkanovski is able to survive, he will take over. His cardio is going to be too much. 5 rounds for Diego, who at times can struggle in 3 rounds. Volkanovski will take over. I do think Diego Lopes is going to be too much too early in the fight, and I think he beats the shit out of Volkanovski. And I hate it. I see the TikToks, I see the clips, I see the memes of people sad and upset that Alexander Volkanovski is probably going to lose here. But that's just this sport. There's a changing of the guard. Volkanovski, all-timer, all-time personality, 36 years old, getting knocked out, fighting a young killer who has power in his hands, who has phenomenal jiu-jitsu. The big issue here is going to be Diego's cardio, but I don't know if this fight even goes long enough for that to matter. I'm going to pick Diego, but the bet, I'm not betting him straight up. The bet will be win inside the distance, decision, no action, because I don't think Volkanovski is going to finish Diego Lopes. And if Volkanovski wins, it's because he took over with cardio and pressure. Diego Lopes is a durable guy. He's very solid off his back. He's solid on the feet. He's good everywhere. So if he loses because he's exhausted, he won't get finished. So that win inside the distance, decision, no action bet essentially means that if Diego finishes Volk, I will get paid. If Diego loses a decision, I will get a full refund. If he wins a decision, I'll get a full refund. And before I get 15 DMs, as I do every week, saying, well, I can't find it, your book might call it finish only. My book calls it win inside the distance, decision, no action. Guys, that's the breakdown. I appreciate every one of you watching. And I want to show that appreciation by delivering the best app in this space. I think it's the only app in this space. I don't think any other capping community has an app. We made the investment. We took the time. We built the app. And download the app because you will get push notifications every time we place a bet. You'll get push notifications anytime something wild happens in the UFC, like fights dropping immediately before the fight card. The app is 100% free. Just search We Want Picks in the App Store. Inside the app, you'll have access to every single thing that we do. The DraftKings Optimizer, the Fight Simulator, the Data Analyzer. You'll have access to the line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. You'll have access to the Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. You'll have access to everybody, not just me, but BetSam. Artem is picking non-UFC fights at it's insane what he's doing. It's insane. And money won outside of the UFC is the same as money won inside the UFC. You'll also have access to the AI. Our artificial intelligence is picking fights based solely off historical data, and it is doing so at remarkable accuracy. Guys, we are on an absolute heater right now. We have been doing unbelievably well. Let's ride that wave together. Check it all out at WeWantPicks.com. I appreciate every last one of you for being here. Nothing brings me more joy than seeing the subscriber count go up, seeing the premium members go up, seeing the views go up. I appreciate every last one of you more than you will ever know. Thank you for being here. Good luck this weekend.